Welcome in, Chiefs Kingdom, to Cheifs Latest, your one-stop spot for everything Kansas City Chiefs in 15 minutes or less. It is your host, Calvin Silvers. Happy Thursday. I was hoping that the second half of the week would just be kind of relaxing, maybe quiet on the news front out of Kansas City, but I was proven wrong as Wednesday we learned about Rashee Rice's suspension length. I'm about to dive into that and what it means for the team, but before I do, you know the drill. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and make sure you turn on those notifications because we have daily, that's right, daily videos here at Cheifs Latest, Monday through Friday. And with the regular season right around the corner, you're not going to want to miss any of the news, rumors, or actions regarding the Kansas City Chiefs. So please hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications as it not only helps me in the channel, but it's going to help you stay up to date with everything Kansas City Chiefs. Now, the Rice saga has finally come to an end with the NFL handing down a 6-game suspension for violating the personal conduct policy, which was tied to his March 2024 Dallas highway crash. Now, no appeal is expected, and that's a smart move for Rice after the NFL initially pushed for an 8-game ban. This was all negotiated down by the NFLPA, avoiding a September 30th hearing. Remember, initially, Rice was going to be allowed to play the first 4 weeks, have that hearing, and then his disciplinary action was going to take place after. But the Chiefs never knew what that was going to be. Now, with this negotiation, you're just going to miss the first 6 weeks, and you know what is to come. But Rice's absence still leaves a gaping hole in the Chiefs' offense that is going to be hard to fill in the first 6 weeks. You have an AFC West rival game, week 1 in Brazil against the Chargers. Then you have a Super Bowl rematch with the Eagles, and weeks 3 through 6 aren't much easier. And we know how vital he is. We know he needs to be out there. Last season, 24 catches, 288 yards, and 2 touchdowns in 3 games. He was leading the NFL in those categories before his injury. His rookie season, 79 receptions, 938 yards, and 7 touchdowns. Going through those games he's going to be suspended for: Chargers, Eagles, Giants, Ravens, Jags, Lions. So not only do you face an AFC West rival, but 3 AFC teams, and 4 of those 6 teams that you play in the first 6 weeks made the playoffs last season. In weeks 1 through 3 last year, Rice was targeted on 34.1% of his routes. That was second most among receivers in the NFL with 50 or more routes ran. He also had a 33.7% share of the Chiefs' targets. That was second in the league behind Malik Neighbors. The NFLPA's pushback against the NFL's overreach, yes, that sets a precedent. But Rice's absence is going to test Kansas City's offensive firepower, their depth, especially their play calling. Is Matt Nagy going to still want to go deep without Rice, especially in a competitive first 6 weeks? So this suspension, while better than the NFL's initial plan of 8, it stings for a Chiefs offense that thrived on his production, has thrived on his production, and now again we have to lean on younger or just unproven depth. But what does this truly mean for Kansas City? What does the 6-game suspension truly mean? I think getting it out early is a blessing in disguise instead of, waiting through 4 weeks and then learning what it is, because it gives the Chiefs clarity to lean now on their deeper wide receiver room and prep for a strong second half. Again, for one, you know the unknown now, or had more of a heads up of what was coming down the pipe going down this route instead of waiting until September 30th. You are allowed to prepare better. You're allowed to, now pick off wires more confidently instead of having to scramble middle of the season when his suspension would have happened and try to just pick up someone. And you knew to keep 8 wideouts. This was no accident. I talked about it yesterday on the podcast. It's a proactive move to weather Rice's absence. And thank goodness Tyquan Thornton has his speed. Jason Brownlee has that red zone ability. I think they'll be ready to step up, especially if Jalen Royals hits IR with his lingering knee issues. Also, the Chiefs will be without Rice when the rest of the wide receiver roster is fully healthy or near full strength. If you waited until the middle of the season, who knows who else would be out when Rice is also having to be out? Who knows what injuries are going to hit those first 4 to 6 weeks? So early suspension means that Rice returns healthy for the back half, because we know he's coming off that injury from last season. So there should be no excuses. He should be near 100%, if not 100% healthy. That's what I like. Let him get some rest. Let him get, as healthy as he can when he returns. And not only that, it now clears any distraction cloud that would linger into the regular season. Now the Chiefs can focus on their AFC West title chase. Without Rice's quick strike ability, 33.7% target share in 2024, the Chiefs must lean on their run game. They're going to have to lean on it. It has to be better than last year. 22nd in yards a game. You can't be one-dimensional. It'll also be interesting to see Kelsey's production. Now that the top pass catcher is out, the Chiefs used 12 personnel, 33.91% of snaps last season. That was just second to the Raiders. So yes, you do play 4 teams that made the playoffs last season in the first 6 weeks. But you should not have a collapse those first 6 weeks without him. You went 15-2 overall with basically him out the whole entire season. So Rice's early suspension forces an offensive shift, sure. But the Chiefs were prepared because they knew kind of what was coming down. That's why they stuck with 8 wide receivers. You have Thornton emerging with that speed. He might be a deep threat option. And a healthier Rice for when he does come back for the second half of the season. I think this is a manageable hit. I want to see the run game catching on early to keep the offense not so one-dimensional. I think that's going to be really big, especially the first 6 weeks. But of course, talking about all this, maybe you don't trust Brownlee enough, and that's fair. Of course, I was talking about how the Chiefs have some wide receiver depth, keeping 8 wideouts, but of course, 2 of those are Nika Remigio, more known for his return ability on special teams, and again, unproven Jason Brownlee. Brownlee did flash in the preseason, sure, but his unproven regular season track record, does that not raise some questions about relying on him over a veteran like Kendrick Bourne, who was just cut by the Patriots? So yes, Brownlee's 6'3" frame does scream red zone potential. But the question we have to ask ourselves is, do we trust him enough, or should the Chiefs grab Bourne's proven route running ability? At least for some stability in that room. Bourne's a tempting waiver wire pickup, needing no draft capital, which is huge, but I think his role might overlap with Juju Smith-Schuster's, who's already Mahomes' trusted veteran. Why throw in another veteran that's going to play a similar role when him and Mahomes already have that connection? Again, Brownlee's doesn't have a track record to rely on. In his career, just 5 receptions, 8 targets, 56 yards, and 1 touchdown. In Bourne's career with the Patriots and 49ers, 68% catch rate, 3,714 yards, and 22 touchdowns. His veteran reliability, route running offers insurance, of course, for Rice's absence during those first 6 weeks. But it all comes down to his redundancy with Smith-Schuster's role, and if that's going to stunt the growth of Brownlee by replacing him on the depth chart, because Brownlee would then have to be moved or cut. Brownlee's size makes him a contested catch threat, but there is nothing to base that off of, really. Limited NFL production means the Chiefs are betting on upside over experience that you would get with Bourne. So Brownlee's potential as a big body target is exciting, but his lack of regular season impact, regular season production, makes Bourne a safer short-term option. But Smith-Schuster's chemistry with Mahomes, that might render Bourne redundant. You don't need to bring him on. So trust the youth or grab the vet. That's the question that the Chiefs and Brett Beach are going to have to answer here very soon. But we do know on some people that they have settled on, or at least moved down to their practice squad, because they wasted no time after the deadline to get this done. They brought some familiar faces like Clyde Edwards-Helaire. They put Mike Edwards on the practice squad, Carson Steele, Chris Oladokun, Robert Tonyan, plus some new blood, Kevin Knowles, Broderick Martin. But don't expect Clyde Edwards-Helaire to fix the backfield. Edwards-Helaire return isn't, shocking given the Chiefs' love for reunions. We saw it with Derek Nottie. We've seen it with Mecole Hardman. But again, running back uncertainty, he's just more of an insurance than he really is an upgrade. But he did have a good rookie season with the Chiefs. But the Chiefs losing Essa Pole on waivers, that one does sting. Beach has put together an interesting practice squad, including one with no Mike Pennel. So you lose Essa Pole, you don't bring back Mike Pennel. It's interesting. So you rock with 2 running backs, 1 safety, 2 offensive linemen, 2 wide receivers, 3 defensive linemen, 1 linebacker, 2 DBs, 1 quarterback, and 2 tight ends. Tanyan's preseason, though, we were shocked when he was cut or wasn't on the 53-man roster because he led the team in 2 games in the preseason in receptions. And now here's why some people are upset that Pollay is gone, because in college he had 0 sacks allowed. And his size, his athleticism, and the potential had the city buzzing as roster cut down day approached, but they decided not to keep him. So it could be a missed gem there. We'll see if they try to bring him back. We'll see what that whole mess is. But really, Edwards-Helaire, Steele provide some running back depth, but trade rumors suggest that Beach wants more. Edwards and Knowles bolster a thin secondary, of course, with Edwards likely elevating if IR moves happen. Tanyan's return preps for Rice's exempless placement, complementing Kelsey and Gray's elite tight end duo. Of course, losing Pollay hurts, but Morris experience, Wanye Morris that is what the Chiefs are banking on. The Chiefs practice squad moves from Edwards-Helaire that is, to Tanyan, of course, are all depth-driven and very, very interesting, especially since, like I said, you don't bring back Mike Pennell. Well, that is all that I have for you guys on this lovely Thursday. Let me know in the comments what you think about this Rashee Rice suspension and how it's going to affect the Kansas City Chiefs. And would you like to see Kendrick Bourne join that wide receiver room, or would you just rather rock with Brownlee? Let me know there as well, and your overall thoughts as well on the practice squad roster. As I mentioned, I am your host, Calvin Silvers. You are listening to Cheifs Latest, and until next time, have a good one.